Imagine waking up before dawn and realizing that while most of the world is still asleep, a single operation is about to decide the fate of an entire front line, because at exactly 4:50 a.m. on December 12, 2025, just 10 miles from the Crimean Bridge, a massive Russian convoy carrying nearly $500 million worth of critical repair equipment erupts into a chain reaction so violent that the glow can be detected by satellites in orbit, and in that instant, Vladimir Putin's last realistic chance to restore the bridge before Christmas quite literally melts inside a firestorm hotter than 3,000 degrees Fahrenheit, turning months of planning, sanctions evasion, and political pressure into twisted metal and ash. Minutes earlier, at 4:44 a.m., the mission had quietly entered its most dangerous phase when Ghost, the same Ukrainian pilot who days before had punched American-made glide bombs straight through the Crimean bridge deck, returned to the cockpit not to celebrate or rest, but to finish what he started by destroying the fragile lifeline sent to keep the bridge alive. Thick fog blankets the Taman approach, dense and heavy, swallowing sound and light like spilled milk, creating near-perfect conditions for Operation Sky Salt, while high above at 15,000 feet, 8 Ukrainian heavy drones cruise silently, moving slowly and deliberately, not like hobby drones, but like airborne cargo trucks whose sole purpose is to carry destruction forward without being seen. One by one, their bays open with a mechanical hum and release dozens of fixed-wing FPV gliders into the cold air, each snapping its wings open and slipping into the wind, conserving battery power as they drift forward, invisible and almost weightless, while far below, skimming barely 50 feet above the rough Black Sea to hide inside radar shadows, Ghost races forward inside his S-16 and nearly Mach 0.9. Locked into a narrow aluminum cockpit, his hands steady, his breathing controlled, knowing that every second matters. Under his wings hang 4 GBU-39 small-diameter bombs, compact but deadly, designed for precision rather than spectacle, while ahead of him waits the real target, a convoy of 30 Russian Kamaz trucks jammed bumper to bumper at a security checkpoint, each vehicle packed with rare hydraulic couplings, industrial oxygen tanks, and specialized components that cannot be replaced quickly, the exact materials needed to restore load-bearing sections of the bridge. Standing between Ghost and that convoy is Russia's pride and shield, the S-400 Triumph air defense system, a weapon advertised as nearly unbeatable, capable of tracking hundreds of targets at once and creating a no-fly zone stretching hundreds of miles, a system built specifically to stop NATO aircraft and cruise missiles long before they ever reach their targets. Inside the Russian command post, radar screens suddenly explode with activity as electronic warfare floods the system with false signals, making it appear as if an entire bomber fleet is approaching, and in seconds the calm, routine watch turns into confusion and overload. The Russian air defense commander understands immediately that he is being jammed, that the swarm on his screen is not real, but a digital ghost meant to force him into a mistake, and he faces a brutal decision: keep the radar on and broadcast his exact position to anti-radiation missiles, or shut it down and fight blind. He chooses blindness, ordering the S-400 to go dark and pushing the fight down to the Panzer air defense units guarding the convoy, instructing them to switch to electro-optical and thermal sensors and engage whatever they can see. On paper, this sounds reasonable, but reality is far harsher, because asking a Panzer operator to find small plastic gliders inside thick fog using thermal cameras is like asking someone to hunt mosquitoes in a dark room with a flashlight, and panic sets in quickly as operators see shadows, lose them, and see them again. Missiles are fired into the fog at targets that barely exist, each interceptor costing close to $1 million, and within seconds millions are spent to destroy almost nothing, while cannon fire fills the sky with thousands of rounds, shredding some drones but failing to stop the swarm. The battlefield becomes chaotic, tracers slicing through the fog like neon whips, explosions flashing orange and white, as the engagement collapses from a calculated exchange into a violent brawl measured in seconds. Then the swarm shifts tactics, tucking wings and diving together, overwhelming defenses through sheer physics, coming from every direction at once, forcing turrets to rotate faster than their motors can handle, until one drone slips through and slams into a command vehicle, another detonates missile racks, and a 30-ton air defense vehicle flips onto its side like a toy. For a brief moment, it looks like Ukraine has broken the shield completely, but Russia has one more card to play, unleashing specialized vehicles that fire canisters into the air which burst into dense metallic aerosol clouds, a shimmering silver mist designed to short-circuit electronics and sever control links. The effect is devastating as dozens of cheap FPV gliders lose connection simultaneously, their video feeds going dark as they tumble from the sky like dead birds, smashing harmlessly onto the road just meters from their targets. In seconds, the swarm is gone, the sky clears, and suddenly Ghost is alone, the only remaining threat, his jet's electronic signature now the brightest thing in the battle space. Using passive sensors that emit no signal, Russian systems quietly lock onto the faint electronic heartbeat of his radar altimeter, and inside the cockpit, warning lights explode to life, alarms screaming as two S-400 missiles blast from their launchers and accelerate to Mach 6 in seconds, closing the distance faster than human reaction time allows. Ghost pulls hard, G-forces crushing his chest, blood draining from his vision, but instead of turning away, he does something almost insane by pushing the throttle forward into full afterburner, igniting a massive blue flame and charging directly toward the incoming missiles, converting raw speed into energy for a maneuver that must be timed perfectly. At the last possible moment, he yanks the jet vertical, trading speed for altitude in a violent climb, and as the flight computer calculates angles and momentum, the 4 GBU-39 bombs detach and arc upward like artillery shells, thrown forward by sheer physics toward a target Ghost himself may never see again. Now slow, exposed, and nearly out of energy, he becomes the perfect radar target, one missile missing him by hundreds of feet, its shockwave rattling the cockpit, while the second presses on, smarter, filtering out countermeasures and closing for the kill. Just as impact seems inevitable, two Ukrainian mother drones dive into its path, broadcasting powerful false radar signatures that mimic a massive bomber, sacrificing themselves as the missile takes the bait and detonates in a blinding fireball that saves Ghost's life. Believing they have destroyed the jet, Russian crews celebrate and stand down, unaware that the real danger is already falling. One bomb strikes the third truck in the convoy, punching through its engine block and detonating inside a cargo bay filled with industrial oxygen, creating an explosion so intense it feeds on itself, rupturing nearby fuel and hydraulic fluid drums, triggering a chain reaction that races through the tightly packed convoy like a fuse. Truck after truck erupts, flames stacking on flames, engulfing air defense systems, cooking off missiles in their tubes, and turning the entire checkpoint into a roaring inferno that wipes out the convoy in seconds. From miles away, Ghost sees the horizon glow like a sunrise in the wrong place, knowing the bridge will remain crippled not for weeks, but for months, forcing Russian logistics into dangerous detours and choking supply lines feeding the southern front. On paper, Ukraine spent roughly $1.3 million on fuel, drones, and bombs, while Russia lost assets worth nearly $500 million, but the real damage is time, because those custom parts cannot be replaced quickly under sanctions, and without them the bridge becomes a bottleneck that slows everything from tanks to food supplies. More importantly, the attack exposes a fatal weakness in Russia's air defense doctrine, proving that systems designed to fight expensive jets and missiles are dangerously inefficient against swarms of cheap drones combined with smart tactics, forcing Russia to burn irreplaceable weapons to stop disposable threats. Ukraine has turned asymmetry into a weapon, using creativity and timing to punch holes in systems that cost billions, and in modern war, that kind of imbalance can decide entire campaigns. So now the question is yours to answer. Was Ghost's decision to charge straight into the S-400 reckless bravery or cold calculation? And do you think the Crimean bridge will ever truly be repaired, or is it destined to remain a symbol of vulnerability? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more deep, easy-to-understand breakdowns of real modern warfare happening right now, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.